Howdy, howdy. In this video, I'm sharing how you can mail a card with a simple white envelope, or some people might call it a plain white envelope. And this is a great way to send one or two cards. I'm going to share with you how to do it securely, how to do it correctly, and how to do it in a way that still makes the opening process a joy for the person receiving it. For this video, I am sending a Wonders of the First foil token card to another Wonders of the First creator, Wonders Workshop. Grace had said that she wanted a copy token, and I've been blessed to get a few of these, and she hasn't pulled one. I'm gonna send her this one. I actually pulled it in a video, she commented, and I said, I'll send you this one. So I'm gonna share with you how to do that in this video. Now, plain white envelope. You might see someone say, hey, do you wanna ship it P.W.E or plain white envelope? And that's exactly what this is. You just grab an envelope and you're gonna ship it with a stamp. Instead of going to click and ship, instead of using a padded envelope where you have to print a shipping label or take it to the post office and get one printed there, you're just gonna do this from your house and do it this way. Now, you don't get tracking. There's a lot less protection. That doesn't mean there's no protection, but you're not gonna have it bubble wrapped because that's gonna be a little bit too much weight or too bulky to ship by stamp, and the mail carrier is just gonna send it back to you, put it back in your mailbox and say, try again. If you want to see how to ship something, if you have something more valuable, I don't recommend doing this with anything formless foil or anything higher value than, say, a few bucks, okay? If you're gonna do that, I suggest you ship with tracking in a padded envelope, and I'll have a video in the corner as well as down in the description for how to do that. But for this one, let's just do it plain white envelope. So the first thing is you never want to ship a card raw, all right? You want to ship it in some protection. So always grab a sleeve here, and all of the supplies I'll have linked down below. I have a running Google Doc of all the trading card supplies that I use. So put it in a sleeve, that will protect it. And then you want to put it in a top loader. This is a plastic sleeve here. And this is, if you just ship one or two, it is the weight that you need for a stamp. Some people will put it in upside down. If you put it in upside down, that gives you the opportunity to add a little bit of tape so it doesn't slide around or fall out, because this envelope's going to be bumped around. So if it bumps around enough, it could slide out of the sleeve. So I like to, just for plain white envelopes, I'll put it in upside down and then grab a little piece of tape and put it at the top of the sleeve. Okay? And this way, okay, it's upside down, so the top of the card, the top of the sleeve is over here. It's not gonna let the card hit the tape. I don't want the card to hit the tape. And this way, if it bumps around, it's not gonna slide out of the top loader, all right? Now, you could tape it by itself, but usually what I'll do, and just to give you an example here, I'll go ahead and take this off. And by the way, you always use painter's tape because it comes off that easily, all right? What I will do is I will grab a piece of cardboard, okay? And you can use a cardboard like this. Ironically, came from an eBay package, okay? You don't have to use that. You could also use a sheet of paper that's folded in 3. So just give it a little squish. All right, there we go. If you've got some junk mail, you can use that. Don't use anything personal like a credit card statement or something like that, especially if you don't know who they are. Okay, but either way, grab something. I'll just use this, okay? And then what I'll do is just protect it. I'll put it on an inside, okay? And then what you wanna do is you just wanna tape it to both sides. So I just rip some tape off, put it here, okay? And then you can just rip another little piece of tape, put it here towards the bottom, all right? So that way, it's not gonna fall out. And it's also not gonna be rattling around the envelope, okay? It's gonna be nice and secure. Put a little extra layer of security on it by folding that up, okay? And then if you want to be extra, put a little smiley face, whatever you wanna do. You don't have to do any of this, but I always put something there because it's like, I don't want them to open it and just think they got a piece of paper. All right, now, the envelope. I suggest getting a security envelope. That's the ones that have the stuff inside. This is just a thick envelope. I realized, do I have any security envelopes? I might not have any security envelopes. So that all the better reason to get it inside of a piece of paper. That way no one can like peek in the sun. If you live outside of a gated community, I just suggest dropping it off at a post box. But if you live in a gated community or somewhere more remote, then you probably don't have to worry about people getting in your mail. But I like to use a security mailer, but if you don't have one, again, just wrap it in a piece of paper like this. And then you're gonna stick it inside the plain white envelope, just like that, all right? Now, I have the palate of a 5-year-old. I hate licking these things, okay? But for an extra 60 cents, you can get the ones that have the tearaway sticker here, so you don't have to lick it. I am traumatized from our wedding invitations and having to lick 300 envelopes. That was disgusting. That was a terrible day. If you're married, you have lots of fights before the wedding. Anyways, once you get it inside your envelope, now you gotta address it. Now, hopefully you went to a school where they showed you how to address an envelope, but in case they didn't, what you're gonna do is you're gonna write your name in the top right, and I'll just use a different envelope. And then you're gonna write your address in the top right, and then your state and zip, okay? And then in the middle, you're gonna write their name. Now, if you're fancy, or if Salvation Army sends you little return address things, save those, don't throw those away. You can just stick one of those on there. Okay, then you're gonna write the recipient's name. So you're gonna write a recipient, and then you're gonna write their address, okay? And you don't have to be perfectly centered, but you do have to be legible. So write it more legible than this. And then you're gonna grab a stamp, okay? This is not a real stamp. This is just part of the packaging here, all right? But since we're just practicing, you're gonna grab a stamp and you're gonna put it right here, okay? Here's a little demo. If you never learned how to write a letter in school, I don't know if they teach that or not, okay? Don't use the one that I just did. Use one of the actual stamps that come on the actual front of what's called a stamp book, okay? And if you don't know where to get these, you can get them at the post office or go to your grocery store and say you want a book of stamps. They'll give you one of these pages and they'll ask if you want forever stamps or regular stamps. Forever stamps, I don't know how much more they are or if they are more, but they're good forever because the price of stamps goes up every couple years. Stamps are 78 cents right now. Next year, they could be 82 cents. And if you buy a 78-cent stamp, it's not gonna ship your letter. They're gonna put it back and say, we need another nickel on this, okay? You buy forever stamps, they're good forever. It doesn't matter if I use this now or if I use this in 10 years, this stamp will be good. All right, so I don't like to worry about it. I just buy forever stamps. I don't know the price difference. I've always bought forever stamps. But yeah, you're gonna unstick these and stick it on the right, okay? And then you're gonna go out and you're gonna put it in your mailbox. If you're blessed with a home, you're gonna go out and put it in your mailbox. You're gonna flip that flag up, okay? That's telling the mail carrier, hey, there's a letter in here that you need to take out. If you just put your letter in there, and you don't put that red flag up, they're gonna think that this is just leftover mail and they're not gonna take it. So you have to flip that flag up. But again, unless you live in a gated neighborhood or somewhere out in the country like us, I wouldn't put it in your mailbox, right? Because it's just too easy for someone to walk up and grab it. That's just, fortunately, the world we live in. So you can take it to the post box. Usually your grocery store will have a blue post box and you can slip this in there. Now stamp is only good for up to 1 ounce, or I think it's 1 ounce. So that's only gonna be 1 or 2 cards with a top loader. If you have 2 cards, I would go ahead and, if you're shipping P.W.E, go and put them in 1 top loader. So I know this will work. Some people will put the card on the side here so it gives the mail carrier something to grab onto. I like to just put it in the middle because it's sticky. It's stuck with the tape, so it's not going anywhere. All right, let's see, what else might you need to know with P.W.Es? I think that's it. And then when the recipient gets it, they're gonna say, I got a letter, and they're gonna open it up. Grace is gonna say, what a wonderful surprise. And she's gonna rip it up, and she's gonna say, I'm so glad American Texan didn't lick this, so I can, and then she's gonna say, oh, what a nice surprise. And then she's gonna open it up and see her taped up card. She's gonna say, oh no, I hope the card didn't touch the tape. She's gonna realize it didn't because it couldn't. See how here in my handling, the card, can you see that actually? Look at that, zoom in. The card actually slid down the top loader. This is the top of the top loader, but the tape prevented it, okay? And then the tape didn't touch the card because the card's it's upside down. It's all on purpose, y'all. And then she's gonna take the tape out. It's gonna rip off real nicely. It's not gonna ruin the top loader. And she's gonna say, wow, thanks so much for my awesome card. Now I have a copy. My name is Grace. Go subscribe to my channel. That's my terrible impression of Grace. I wasn't even trying. But anyways, that's how you ship a trading card via plain white envelope or P.W.E. So now I'm gonna do it for real. I'm gonna do it off camera so you don't see any of our information. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more trading card tips and tricks, regardless of if you like to play Wonders of the First, if you like to play Wonders of the First, great, this is a perfect channel for you. If you are interested in Wonders or if you just wanna check out the game and just catch up with what's going on with news and updates, by all means, subscribe. 3 videos a week, American Texan Plays. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios.